Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
And we're here to talk some Premier League today, the last of our MLS playoffs leading into the finals, which happened this weekend.
Yes, they're still going on, by the way.
Yes.
Yep, still going on, just in case you had forgotten.
Santa's bringing somebody a trophy.
But first things first, we got to get to the beers, which, if I understand correctly, Ron, this is the next three beers from the New Zealand brewery we had last time.
Correct. So last time was, if you listen to the pod, it was Lakeman Brewing. Lakeman Brewing from Taupō, New Zealand.
Lakeman being the version of a Yeti.
Yeah, their version of a mythical hairy beast who...
Don't ever call me that again.
Sorry. At least not to your face. Who essentially, haunts the lake, if you will. And so this brewing company essentially made beers in his honor. And he's their bottle art.
Their Twitter page is great because they have the dude in the Yeti suit. It's kind of awesome.
It's so great.
I haven't been to their page yet.
Yeah.
It's pretty entertaining. So the first one we have tonight, these three beers are all versions of a pale ale.
Okay.
And they're all...
We're going to go the pale ale trail.
Yeah. It's paved with hops. So...
Maybe hops. To a God by Jackie Pendergrass.
Hello, Ops.
That's his paved with hops. That's his his memoirs.
Yeah, paved with hops. Travels with Jackie Pendergrass.
Get old Jackie.
All right. So the first one, the New Zealand Pale Ale called Wild Man.
Of course.
Get your inner wild man on and let this golden pale ale take you to the tropics with exotic fruit flavors of pineapple, strawberry delivered on a balanced bed of malt. Just don't start beating your chest. 5.5 ABV. There's your bottle art.
I like their bottle art. You'll see some pictures from the previous episode. We'll also have it on this episode. But I like that they have the same label. It's always a different color.
Yeah,
right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's got the Lakeman face on it, the Tongariro volcano on the one side erupting. A lot of volcanic activity going on. This, again, 5.5 ABV. It is the smallest ABV they have in their pale ale series.
Whoa, there it goes. Pop the champagne.
A lot of carbonation in this one.
Oh, we popped it and it fizzed.
All right, guys, if you fry, it's because there's beer all over your mic, your headphone cables now.
Whoops.
There's a paper towel around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Jackie Pendergrass says, be careful when you're popping them brews open.
The paved, what was it called?
The pale
ale.
What
was it?
It's
Paved
the
with
new,
hops.
it is called Wild Man, the New Zealand Pale Ale.
Wild man.
There we go.
Thanks,
So
sir.
very carbonated, so I'm not shocked. It's got some little decent head retention.
Very nice color.
Oh, man. And I got a desk that smells like delicious passion for...
It smells like wild man.
Pineapple strawberry.
Pineapple strawberry beer. Actually, I smelled that.
Yeah, it does. It's
I
a very
just
good smell
smelled
to
paper
it.
towel after. So I was like, paper towel smells good.
There's a very good smell to it.
Really strong on the strawberry. It smells great. All right.
Okay, I'm going to cheers you in just a second. I'm just sitting here trying to clean up this table. So it's only so sticky. Okay, here we go. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cilantro, boys.
Man, this smells awesome.
Tastes just as awesome.
Man, for as hoppy as that smells, it is
crisp.
not bitter.
It's crisp.
No, not at all. Very smooth finish.
Oh, the strawberry hit me very late.
Yeah. That's really good.
Like not strawberry in a syrupy way by any stretch. It's
No, not at
literally
all.
like the aroma,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not so much the flavor, just kind of the aroma.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, man, that's delicious.
That is delightful, sir.
Well
They
done.
make some good brews.
Oh.
Yeah, so far I haven't had one that I've been like, oh, it's okay.
All right, well now we can go into our special episode for
I really like that.
where we talk for an hour and a half about Arsenal beating Chelsea or beating Tottenham. Right, that's what this episode is.
You know what? Sure.
And
I mean, I got a little like snarky with some of my headlines here, so
I I hadn't noticed.
Yeah. I was just like, I'm just going to write whatever the hell's going on in my mind at the current time.
Especially the Crystal Palace Burnley.
Just, we're gonna since we had midweek games, we're gonna kind of look at week 14 as well as our midweek games that are for match day 15 that just occurred here in the middle of the week. Short turnaround for some of these clubs.
Yeah, this is the part in the season where teams really
leading up to Christmas. And
they really start separating the wheat from the chaff, if you will. So many games, so fast, such a tight turnaround.
No more international breaks.
Yeah, you really start to see the teams that have depth pull away and the teams that don't sink to the bottom.
So we're going to kind of whip around to some of the bigger games from those last 2 match days, starting off with clubs that you might not associate with bigger right now, but Cardiff City and Wolves, and a big home win for Cardiff.
Big win for Cardiff. They needed that one. And that, I believe that actually got them out of the bottom 3 at the time.
It did.
Which, that's all they need this year is they just need to stay out of that bottom 3. They're going to be in a struggle all year, but getting a win at home and a come from behind win, because they didn't start off in the best of fashions. A Matthew Doherty goal real early in the game in the 18th minute, and then second half goals, one of which, for me so far, has to be the goal of the year. If you guys did not see that Junior Hoylett goal, my word, what a phenomenal just curler. Kind of, it didn't really come out of nowhere, but just kind of a every like give and go type play on the edge of the box, the far edge of the box. And then he just hit all of it. Such pace, such accuracy, unbelievable shot. I mean, and it won them the game. It was a goal that deserves to win a game, and it was a beauty.
And quite the celebration.
Cardiff City starting, granted, I know at this point, they've only got 11 points, which has them sitting at 16th right now, just out of relegation zone. But Cardiff City, last 3 weeks, starting to play with compared to where they were sitting, where like, they are going to be in and out of the Premier League, look like they're going to have a fighting chance at trying to get to that magic 40 points and stay in the Premier League. Whereas there are some other teams, Burnley and Southampton, I'm looking at you, who might just help out a club like newly promoted Cardiff.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I was mistaken. It wasn't a give and go. The ball actually got bounced back out of the box, and he just one time hit it. And even their first goal was a beautiful goal by Gunnarsson. Great name. Off a corner, just lovely play with the chest, and then kind of a jump karate kick type ball into the back of the net. But a very, very good win for Cardiff. Needed to come at this time. Needed to be against Wolves. Wolves at this point was on a little bit of a downslide. I think they had dropped, or they hadn't won in the past like 4 or 5 games up until this point. So for Cardiff to nick some points here. Very, very good for Cardiff, and just hopefully that they can get a few more in these games after games and get themselves a little bit of a cushion from that bottom 3. And
momentum is so important, and that's kind of what Cardiff is rolling on right now. So if they can just score some draws, get some few more points, like right now, especially with clubs like Fulham, Burnley, and Southampton that are sitting at the bottom, who don't look they're doing themselves any favors at the current moment. It might get a reprieve for a club like Cardiff.
And I think it was also, what's their manager's name? Neil Warnock? Was his birthday, right? Or like it was the day before his birthday or something like that?
It's a very Lord of the Rings name, so I like it. Warnock, the wizard.
Warnock. He's been up and down in the Premier League for the past 75 million years, but yeah. He's a great manager to have in the Premier League, though.
This beer is really good.
Quite tasty.
This is very drinkable. This would be like sit at the pub for a while and be dangerous.
Wow, man, baby.
Well, speaking of clubs that needed to help themselves out, home Crystal Palace being visited by Burnley. Crystal Palace 3 important points. They overcome Burnley 2-0.
I don't overcome Burnley is an understatement in this,
which is insane. They had one of the best defenses last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
not this year at all. Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
But when I was looking at the game and I was putting together content, I looked at some of the stats and I went, holy look at these stats here. Because Palace, I don't think I've seen this in forever. 29 shots total, 9 of which were on target. Now, this is versus Burnley's 4 total shots, 0 on target. To be only 2-0, wow. And again, this was kind of to the Cardiff effect. This is a much needed win by Palace.
And Burnley negative 18 goal differential right now.
Yeah,
that's rough.
That's real rough.
Can I give you an insane stat I heard today?
Absolutely.
Well, I was listening to the two Robbie show, but it was actually Robbie Musto and Kyle Martino on that particular episode. And they threw out a stat that Man City's current goal differential, or the track they're on, is the best goal differential in 130 years.
Ugh.
Ugh. I need to look. I didn't look it up when I got home. It was said. Obviously, the season's not done yet. Or could 38 at this point already? I don't know. But they said 130 years. Obviously, the Premier League's only been existed for so long, but as far as top flight,
they're at plus 38, and Burnley's down there at minus 18.
Yeah.
That gap of difference is huge, especially like we're just saying with the defense that they had last year, and they had such high aspirations going into this year, going into the Europa League, or at least the qualifying stages. They never actually got in through the to the tournament and started to get going. But it's just been all downhill for them. And right now they are tied not tied at the bottom, but they are 19th, tied on 9 points. Sean Dyche has to try to figure something out. Very un-Sean Dychean team.
Yeah, and you can tell he's starting to scratch his head looking for answers. He's tried a few things to shore up the defense and the midfield, and those largely have not worked. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do going forward, because they need to turn it around, and they need to turn around very soon.
Yeah, they do. I don't know quite what that is. Their midfield is a little bit slow and lethargic, which I don't think has helped them and helped their back four. He's kind of hasn't had a consistent back four either. Having Joe Hart in goal probably hasn't been helping either. Every place he's gone in the past several years, the teams haven't quite won. It's not all Joe Hart's fault. Team has to play in front of him.
He can only pep them up so much in the tunnel.
He needs to bring that stash back. That's what he needs to do. He brings that stash back. They win like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Chris Wood, a pod favorite of ours, just not hitting the ball in the back of the net this year like he was last year. It's been tough. I haven't had any chance to do a good Wood headline.
Yeah, you haven't had any good Wood headlines.
Because he hasn't really, I don't even think he has a goal on the year.
It's been a while since you had any good Wood.
That's hey-o. That means two things. But Burnley need to figure it out. Still a lot of time though left. It's just you kind of want to see how Sean Dyche will organize the club and kind of get them back on the right track, because he really hasn't had this adversity, especially in the Premier League, but in his time with the club. So he's held in with such high regards there, and rightfully so, that he's going to be given the time, which is good, but you got to get it turned around here sooner or later. You're going to find yourself in a really bad spot come the second half of the season.
And you want it sooner. You don't want it later.
100%.
And just real quick, when we were talking about Manchester City, so all they need is 40 goals, a difference of 40 more goals, and they will have tied last season. They're beating their record last, like if you look where they were this point last season,
right?
Their goal differential was less than plus 38. So they're actually way ahead of where they were last season, and they set the Premier League record for goal difference last season.
So that's the stat, because they were on path to beat.
Yeah,
that's the highest goal differential
because
ever.
We're not halfway through the season yet.
No. And right now they're. I mean, what was who did Man City play that particular week?
They hold on, I just had it here. They beat Bournemouth 3-1.
So it wasn't Bournemouth. I forget who it was, but they played someone that's like, well, we just hope that we can keep it to single digits, which,
Oh, jeez.
It's like
West Ham 4-0.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Well, and keep in mind, the scary thing is they're doing this without Kevin De Bruyne at the current moment.
Yeah.
And they're getting everybody scoring. It's not just Aguero. It's not just Sterling. They're getting Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan. They're getting, Sane's come in. He's been playing fantastic. I think he has a goal and an assist in like every game he's started so far this season. So they're just ridiculously dangerous. And does anybody not think they're going to break the goal difference?
I think they
all-time
will.
record here. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they will.
I don't even know if anyone's going to catch up at remotely.
I don't know. Well, they're guaranteed to win this week when they play Chelsea.
I don't know.
I think so. We
We
got to fall a little further before
we'll
we
see.
pick back up.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Speaking of falling further, next
Hey!
match, home
Look
at
at that segue.
home at Southampton. They get visited by Manchester United for a 2-2 draw.
Lukaku getting on the score sheet for once.
Getting put in the game, not on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the bench in the midweek game, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But I don't know. I
Here's the thing,
really
too.
don't know what to say anymore.
Southampton, and this has become an ongoing story, scores fast and quick against Man United. They're up 2-0. I thought, oh my God.
Inside the 20th, yeah.
Is this how this is going to go?
And the one thing you have to say about United this year is, I get it. They should be beating Southampton 9 times out of 10, no matter what the circumstances. 100% they should. But I do like that United don't give up in games. And they haven't given up in a game so far this year. It may seem like it, and their play may not necessarily reflect the quality at which they should be playing, but they were down 2-0 on the road. No matter where you're playing on the road in the Premier League, it's still going to be tough.
But here's the problem.
And they fought back, and they scored 2 goals. They did not get the win. I get that.
But
They don't give up. It's every game.
It's every
though,
game,
right?
like going
So-
down so fast, and obviously when you're playing
Right.
like what happened to
And
Man City.
Who knows? At some point, that opposite side of the dam may break, and then being just like, all right, screw it, we're tired of
But
this, and we're not
here's
going to keep.
What's crazy?
I don't know.
We just jumped on Burnley. Last year, Man United was in second with one of the best defenses in the league. What happened?
Was it one? Because I didn't consider them one of the best defenses.
Oh
in the
yeah,
league.
dude.
They had one of
Yeah.
the better goal differences, but they weren't one of the best defenses in the league. I think
I
Matic
think
was
for where they were
I
for
think
where
they
we are in
were.
this season, what 15, 16 games in, they were doing well.
Yeah, they were doing well, but I wouldn't have considered them last year one of the best in the Premier League. I think Matic was having a much better year last year, and he protected that back four a lot, which greatly helped with that goal difference that we had last year. So far this year, he seemed a little bit, he seemed slow. He's starting to show his age a little bit, and that protection's not quite there. Plus, we really haven't had a consistent back line. We're starting to get that Lindelof-Smalling partnership, but even then, that's not anything to really, that's not a Ferdinand and Vidic type back four. So, I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know anymore. I'm just glad we didn't lose, and that's not what a Manchester United supporter, a Manchester United fan, somebody on the Manchester United team should be saying. But that's what I'm saying right now. I'm just happy we didn't lose. I'm happy we didn't just give up. We came back, scored 2 quick goals, and
so I just looked it up on the Premier League website. Goals conceded the 2017-2018 season.
Mm-hmm.
Man City 27, Man United 28. You guys you had one of the best defenses.
And the stats may help with that, but I don't think it was regarded as one of the best defenses all of last year.
Well, Man City was first and you're second, so I disagree.
No, I understand that. So the stats may show that, but when did you turn on NBCSN and hear Rebecca Lowe and the Robbies talking about Man United's one of the best defenses in the league? You didn't, because it wasn't really.
Well,
it didn't feel that way.
It was also overshadowed by all of the other things.
And it was also overshadowed by David De Gea, who was a large part of why that was so much. And this year hasn't looked as good as he has been, but you can't throw anything on him because he's been fantastic in his time with the club. Our defense is not good, and I don't even think it was good last year. Yes, the stats may show that, but we're giving up 2 goals to Southampton.
By the way, right now,
2 to
for
Newcastle at home.
2018, 2019, you were up to 25 goals conceded.
Oh, yeah.
Put that in perspective.
No
We're
doubt.
not even half. God, that's a crazy stat.
No doubt.
Man.
Well, I mean, it's still a long year. I think we'll somehow manage to sneak into the top 4. I don't know.
Conceded 7 at this point. The top is actually Liverpool with only 6 at this point so far this season. But good grief. Well, that's telling, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. But, I mean, I'm just kind of.
Well, we'll get to talk about
there.
them more in a little bit.
Yep.
That brings us to Arsenal 4, Tottenham 2.
God, this day was just glorious.
A gigantic thumping of Tottenham.
And what a game. Easily the best game of the year so far.
Derby that we've had in years.
In a long
period,
time, yeah.
Any
Agreed.
club, in the sense that it was chippy, yelling at each other on the sidelines. The fans were into it.
Couple penalties.
Like, it was a true, proper derby that hasn't happened in the modern game in a while because, you know, people, they go play for all sorts of clubs and, like, you know what I mean? But this had the feeling of, you know, like rival high schools that hate each other. Like that's what that felt like. It was a blast.
Yeah, and I would argue that one of the reasons we haven't seen this derby be as good as it was is Arsenal just couldn't hold up the past few years. So,
Right.
Well, no, but I mean, between Man City, Man United, a Chelsea, Arsenal match, this just felt like a proper British derby that we haven't seen
Yes.
in any derby in a while. Like, because, you know, that game the following week was followed, or that week was followed by a Liverpool Everton match that had an exciting end, but didn't feel like a derby. Do you know what I mean? Like, it didn't have that.
Right,
like,
but I mean,
yeah.
even last year when United beat City at home and came from behind and won 4-2, same scoreline, you're right. It didn't have that gritty, chippy feel to it. It was a fun game. It was a good game, but it didn't get that real derby like there is.
With the club at the feeling, oh, you're gonna fight me? You can fight all of us. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have
just
managers going down the sideline to stop their players. Like, it was, it was, there was noththing out of hand or
not to promote
nothing,
that
anything,
kind of thing, but just
it was like they weren't endangering people. It's not like it was, in the old days, you put on a tackle and you try to break somebody's leg. No, it was just chippy. There were some hard fouls in there, a little bit of pushing and shoving, a little bit, but there was nothing too bad or something where you went, ooh, that's not, that's not how you do things or anything along those lines. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It had that feel. It also helped that the Emirates showed up for a change. The showed up, flags were swinging, songs were singing.
I would argue that it's because it's the first time in a while that, as Ron said, Tottenham has visited the Emirates where people weren't going, oh my God, I'm so nervous for Derby Day. They were like, bring it on.
Absolutely.
And that's all because of what Emery has done to the attitude, the support that's happening in Arsenal. It's a totally different vibe. I mean, I was so, how do I put it? I was so weirdly excited, nervous, unlike I've ever been, because instead of going, God, I just hope we don't lose this, I was freaking myself out going, ooh, I'm so excited because I think we can win this. And that scares me because that's my first response is, I think we can do this. Like, and I, hasn't felt that way forever. Instead, you're like, please just don't be ugly,
Yeah.
Like, if we get a draw, okay, at least we can get a draw. Man, we won this huge.
I wouldn't say we won it huge. It was.
Oh yeah, Pochettino got out coached by Emery. Emery made those at halftime. He made those switches.
He made the adjustments
completely.
Yes. But I wouldn't say you won huge. It was all of a game, and it was tied 2-2 until the 75th. And then from there,
we won huge.
Tottenham, their defense capitulated a little bit lucky on the third goal.
They couldn't handle the fitness, man. Don't mess with the Arsenal fitness now.
Well, no,
Emery
you guys have some very fit and
has
fast
changed
players.
that. Also, we don't have is Ozil playing.
Yeah,
he was on the bench in this game, wasn't he?
Emery has had no problem with being like, you don't perform, peace out.
That's true.
And by the way, he set out the next game we're going to talk about too with Arsenal. Emery has had no fear of, I don't care what your paycheck is.
He wasn't even on the bench in this game, was he? I think he might have had a slight knock.
He had a back spasm. And afterwards, everybody went,
hurt feelings.
Something's up because.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because they asked Emery, so is how is Ozil? And he's something to the effect of like, something with his back. Oh, is he here today? I don't know.
Yeah.
And you're like,
if he's one of the better players and he's got a knock on the back, then the manager knows all the details.
Yeah.
And
the answer would have been, he's at home, he's recovering right now. Is it
right?
No.
Or we expect him back in practice.
His attitude was like, I don't know. I don't care. We won.
This rings of another January swap between Arsenal and Man United. Ozil for Pogba. It's just gonna go straight across.
I don't know. Emery's got such
Emery would definitely take Pogba. Are you kidding me? I don't. We shouldn't touch Ozil with a 10-foot pole. But
if it's a straight swap,
That's what it was last year with Sanchez and Mkhitaryan.
Huh? I don't
highly
know.
doubt it's going to happen, but
No,
I don't know. I think
but
if
I do
were,
agree with you. I think because of the injury that occurred to Rob Holding, I think you're going to see a center back. I think you're going to see but I think you're going to see an aggressive January out of Arsenal to get a couple of those things.
I don't think you go that aggressive. I don't think you turn the team over that much. They're gelling very well right now.
No, I mean aggressive, like going to Snagsman, like good for like your defense by losing Rob Holding.
Yeah,
I mean, I think you'll see some aggressive. And what I mean by that is with Ozil, if you thinking maybe you could just lose him, you can get aggressive because you're probably going to get some money for him.
Do you think the goalkeeping needs to be looked at all? Because Berlin's approach to that first goal and his positioning was not the best. I mean, I know it's kind of been a little bit uncharacteristic, but
I'm not. I don't hate the goalkeeping situation right now in Arsenal. I don't think. Sure, if someone great is available, but I don't know. We're unbeaten in 20.
yeah,
I'm okay right now. You know what I mean? Like sure. I mean, if there was somebody that was,
you have a good recipe. Do you mess with the soup?
Yeah. I mean, again, if there was some just stellar
For once,
keeper that was available that you could snag.
for once, there's not a gigantic glaring issue in the Arsenal lineup.
No. Yeah. That's a huge.
Well,
and these are a lot of the same players.
They're not multiple gigantic issues. I don't think but I agree. There's not a gigantic issue. The defense to me is still a little
Rob
bit of a
Holding's
problem.
a problem. Being injured. If the injury is season ending.
Right, because he made up for the little bit of elder statesmen that are in the team a little bit slower. But again, you have so much firepower, and your midfield is really solid now with Torreira in there.
Torreira.
It's
Looking great.
who got the fourth goal in this, and man, I mean,
Shirt off.
Arsenal's a lot of fun this year to watch.
Love that kid.
Yeah.
He took his shirt off and ran around and slid. He's like, who needs Sanchez? Look at these nipples.
Yeah, and he's all of what, 5'2"? He's
lucky,
so tiny.
Lucky if he's 5'2".
But
But a wonderful strike though
Yeah,
from him.
brilliant. Way to follow it up too.
Oh, yeah.
Very fun match. Very fun match.
Yeah. And you said just the if you were neutral, it was fun. The atmosphere, it was great.
Which takes us to Liverpool v Everton.
The game following it. And even Ferris says your headline for the Arsenal Tottenham match was best game of the year so far. Liverpool Everton, you're like, man, will this game be a good one? Because that Arsenal match was freaking fun.
Yeah.
And the answer is not really.
Well, aren't you going to read the headline of that?
Wait, your
The headline says, lucky as which is 100% accurate.
I thought it was a little snarky. I was like, I'm just going to put it down in my head on these. Like the one for United was, OMG, Lukaku finally scores.
But-
like, just a little smart ass. And then this
Right.
was lucky as When did you guys see? I mean, for the majority of the game was not a whole lot of fun to watch. Everton probably should have had a real early goal there and a great save by Alisson.
Yeah.
But God,
think Jurgen
what do you
Klopp,
make
though,
of that last goal, though?
I'll tell you what I'll make of it. Jurgen Klopp would agree with your headline. I mean, like it was. And you know what, man? I know they harped on him, but I freaking loved the just elation of him running across the pitch when that happened, because it was the 95th or whatever.
Yeah,
like
the last gasp of the
Yeah,
game.
it was the
Did
oddest.
he get fined?
I don't know if he got
I
fined.
haven't seen
I don't
whether
care.
or not he got fined yet, but
I think he did. I think he got a. I don't think it was a ban. I think he got fined.
He gave some of the best hugs after that game.
for Vladi Divac Origi.
There were some good hugs happening after that game. I was like, oh man, like just
Yeah, but I mean, one of the weirdest, oddest plays that you has ever been seen before in English football. Just bounces off of the complete miss shot. The guy that actually kicked it starts to run back toward his own goal with his hands in there. Like, oh my god, I can't believe I just hit that. And it just loops up, and
a lot of people
Pickford
stop.
doesn't. I don't know. Like, he just misreads trying to push it over.
Yeah.
Hits the crossbar twice, and then bounces down to a Vladi
some people-
Divac Origi who just heads it in.
And some of the players feel like it goes over and they think it's out, and so they stop.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And they switch off for that
Yeah,
moment.
it was
And
weird.
Klopp was fined 10,000
Oh, there you go. Okay.
for wild celebrations.
Hey, that's 10,000.
If
well
I was
worth
playing
it,
with
though,
him,
right?
I would give him my 10, because that was
I know,
friggin'
right?
Like it was it. I know it's not very English, and a lot of the English pundits, it was funny because they were like, "I just can't believe
yeah.
you did that."
Jolly old chop, come on.
But man,
Poor form.
it was just awesome. It was just awesome.
I like the fact that we have a few managers in the Premier League that have so much passion. They do things like that.
And a very honorable dude is Everton's coach, who was very quick to say, it's okay.
Right.
Like, he was excited. He did not pull a Mourinho and I cannot believe that happened or whatever. Like he was
Excited at home, went to his own fans, went to his own. Yeah, no, I
and he
no
said
problem
like
with it.
he said, you know,
Absolutely
he
not.
didn't run into any. He was very cool about. I mean, even after the game was over, the hug that Klopp gave him, you could tell was like, I'm sorry,
Right,
I just did that.
And he, I mean, you know, they find him because of it's kind of like the shirt off thing. You get
put
a
a stop
you,
to
if
it.
you take
Yeah,
your shirt
yeah.
off when you celebrate, it's a card. Okay, just it's a stupid rule, but if a manager steps onto the pitch and gets out of his little box that he's in, his protective box,
His
then
technical
you
area.
get fined.
Yeah.
So like everybody was in the right. There's nothing wrong with any of it, you know.
It was not a big deal. I loved it.
Shall we another beer?
Oh yeah. Before we move on to our
The midweek games.
to the midweek games. All right, Ron, what's beer number dose?
A bold hop forward amber IPA.
Man, they like them ambers, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, this is another amber IPA.
Yeah,
We had
Another
one
amber IPA with aromas of fresh summer fruit, citrus, and a hint of pine. Smooth, not shaggy balanced malt ends with a pop of citrus flavors. 6.3 ABV. The Harry Hop India Pale Ale.
The Harry Hop.
He did the hop.
Who did the monster
Harry
hop?
The Harry Hop.
That's pretty good.
Ooh, I'm excited for beer number 2. I think we're gonna have to take a New Zealand trip because
You ain't lying.
man.
Oh, just wait. I have so much
Oh, and
more
by the
booze.
way, Ferris, we might have a little left over. Ron from one of the New Zealand wineries he went to brought back a wine that was it was a blend of like Malbec, Shiraz. Oh my! It was so. I forget. It did
it's
two
a
other wines. I forget.
vitreous.
So flipping good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Just one of the best red wines I've ever had.
I'm not a huge wine person, but man, I could put a bottle of that away so
It's like that
easily.
particular one is very spiced. It's a good one. It's a
Yeah.
good one.
Just dry enough. Oh, so good.
Yeah. All right. So this one is
Harry Hop India Pale Ale, 6.3 ABV.
It is an amber.
and it's an amber.
And it is
IPA.
it looks like an Irish beer or Irish red.
Yeah,
That's how dark it is.
Yeah, it does have an amber tint to it. Absolutely.
Smells good.
Launcha?
Ooh. Oh, I just live at
wow.
this brewery.
Ooh.
So what's interesting is that it starts off with that slightly bitter punch and then
Mellows out, yeah.
smooths out into a bit of a sweet finish.
But this one has got more of a hop bitter on the end, like than the previous
Yeah,
one did.
sure.
And I'm digging it. Like I'm digging it. It's a little bit.
It's kind of like it's like a cold start at first. It's
Yeah.
like a boom and just hits you real quick, and then
Yeah.
it kind of just
I just like that I can smell again. I don't know if you see the scratch across the front of my nose, but I tried to pull the stroller out of the back of the car, and a piece of it came off, and I was pulling it toward me, and I just went bam and hit myself across the face, froze for about 20 seconds before I would breathe again, trying to decide, did I break my nose? I really thought I did.
I mean, you need a better story than
And
that. You need to be like,
it turns out it was just high enough that it didn't break my nose. If it had gone any lower, we wouldn't be doing the pod right now.
yeah, but you still need a better story than that.
No, it was.
There's this Tottenham fan down at the pub, and I'll go.
I wish. No way. Oh man, it was terrible. I thought I'd knock myself out. All right. Now let's move on to the midweek games.
And there were some doozies.
Yeah, man. Home for the Wolves hosting Chelsea. Huge win for the Wolves. Embarrassing loss for Chelsea.
Oh, 100%.
Only because the Wolves have been playing bad. Not been playing bad. That's why I say that. Not as a knock at Chelsea.
They were 6 games winless going into this, and then two quick goals in the second half, and bang.
And Chelsea's been, well, I think right now in that stat I'd pulled up, they were third best defense currently right now. So, I mean, they've been playing very well. So this was a...
Yeah, we're in a bit of a pre-Christmas slump. The goal that Ruben Loftus-Cheek got, he only got because of a massive deflection, which really I'm wondering if it actually got classified as an own goal. because the deflection was so drastic.
Yeah, it didn't get classified as an own goal, but yeah.
You think in the January window, is there a striker that Chelsea can snag? I feel like that would change a ton.
But a lot of talk they're looking at Pulisic, which I don't think.
But he's not a
striker. No,
right.
There was also reports of, I mentioned a couple, maybe it was last week's pod. They were looking at a Cardi as well, which my heart would be devastated if he went there. But I don't know who else you go in for.
Yeah, and
Benzema?
I don't know that he'd show up. I mean, he might, but we've had, dare I say, since the Diego Costa sending
drama,
deportation, whatever you want to call
text.
it.
I texted him. No, I didn't respond to the text.
Yeah,
whatever that was.
We haven't had an out and out performing striker. We've been kind of doing this.
No.
Yeah, we've been kind of doing this hybrid-ish thing. Giroud has been stepping up.
But I think if you had one with the team you've had defensively, I think you'd be right up there with like chasing right behind, closer to Liverpool. Not
but you're like, who do you get? Because
I'm not sure who's available right now. I mean, Giroud has been great for you, but in the same way that he was at Arsenal, either a compliment or a sub in that's like a quality late goal scorer.
Yeah, we still have. I would argue that if Hazard isn't having a good game, we have an attacking identity crisis. So take him out of the picture. You have Pedro, you have Willian, you have Giroud, you have Morata, but none of them link up very well together. They're all really good shooters and they can all score goals. But as far as team goals go, I don't. They don't strike me as something like an Arsenal with Aubameyang and Lacazette and how well they're linking up. Chelsea haven't had that in quite some time.
A name just came to mind on somebody you could get and would be reasonable. I don't know if he's quite up to the Chelsea standards, but would bring a little bit of what Costa brought. Alexander Mitrovic from Fulham. A little bit of bite back. Can shoot the ball very well. A little bit of scrap in front of goal. Will use his body very wisely. Again, I don't know if he's up to the Chelsea standards, but he could bring a little bit back of what Costa offered them that complemented well. But the team has changed over a bit since then. And there was some changes in this game, as you kind of expect for midweek games like this. But you shouldn't.
Well, but I think the biggest thing about Chelsea is, even despite this like losing game here that puts them losing 2 here, nobody thought with this switch over in coach, Chelsea would be in the fight that they're in the top 4. I mean, I didn't think that switch over would go how it's been.
Right.
But at this point, I would say Chelsea's definitely, who I consider someone that will be in the top 4. If they hold on to this team, and even after this season, add that attacking power, that's a wicked.
Yeah, by no means is it panic time, but there are things we could be doing better. And I think one of the things we could be doing better is playing more cohesively as a team. I think another person that we might be able to snag is a person like Arnautovic from West Ham.
That's not a bad shout.
He would be a very good person to play up top for us. Very gritty striker, very speedy, tactically minded, and very physical player.
You'd probably enjoy getting out of West Ham.
I mean, I think I would.
Chicharito had a good week, but
I did. West Ham aren't as bad of a crisis as they have been in years past, though.
No, they're 13th.
No. They're comfortably going to sit in mediocrity this year.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to worry about getting relegated. Last year, that like a real possibility at one point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wolves, just good to see them kind of get back in the W column after a very strong start to the year. Like I said, winless in the past 6 games. So playing at Molineux was a big help in this game, and they were able to pull it off and hang on.
Yeah, so let's get out of that game and get on to Are You Ready to Rumble?
Manchester United at home host the Arsenal.
I thought you were going to kill us.
For a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, this is kind of a sloppy 2-2 draw. Definitely a midweek game. Some defensive errors, an own goal. I mean, uncharacteristic by David De Gea.
Or Lacazette got robbed. I think it should have been a goal for him. I don't think that was an own goal.
Honestly, I think this was a fair result. United have played better than they have in the past games, but again, had to come back each time in this. Very poor defensive play from both teams. And Arsenal wasn't as free-flowing as they have been in games past. Give a little bit of credit there to the United midfield. I think Herrera needs a permanent stay in the team. He brings a lot more, and he is a box-to-box midfielder. And I think he helped out a lot. I got a goal in the last game and helped sitting next to like I said, kind of a older Matic here who's starting to show his age a little bit, so has those wheels to kind of get around him. And Arsenal, I mean, they expelled a lot of energy in the derby game. That took a lot out of them. You can kind of just tell that, both physically, emotionally. It was a high energy game. Go into this midweek game 2 days after, and they weren't quite. It was actually on the bench. Yeah. Just not quite firing. On the Manchester United side, no Pogba, no Lukaku in this game. Both dropped to the bench, and Pogba did come in the second half. And I think
I'm sorry, Lukaku. You mean the virus? I'm just saying, if you're gonna say that, well, if word is leaking out of the dressing room that Mourinho called him a virus, that's in front of everybody. That's probably not good. 2, people are leaking things out of the dressing room. That's also not good. This is going to approach soon what happened at Chelsea, and they are going to turn against him. Now,
against Pogba or
against Mourinho? I'm convinced now. At the virus thing, I'm like, oh, okay, it might take a bit longer than it took for Chelsea that year. Yeah, they're going to turn on him. Because right now, after every game, it is not his fault. It is everybody else's fault. And the real question,
I don't think he stays the entire year. I mean, I get it. I mean, if he was fired tomorrow, I could not argue against that. But I think he does stay the entire year. Again, United don't give up in these games. They keep coming back each time. They're not getting the wins. Sometimes, I mean, it just doesn't. It's not going our way this year. And yes, you can point to Mourinho, you can point to Pogba, you can point to a bad defense. But I don't get that feeling like it's quite the third year that Mourinho's had in the past. They're not. The players at this point would have been like, the hell with you, dude. We are going to get you out. That's what they did at Chelsea. That's what they did at some of his other clubs. That's not the case. So there's something a little bit different there. And I think we said it last spot. I could see them like winning the Champions League and then being in 15th in the Premier League, and like, well, what the hell? How does that season work out? That's the kind of feel that I get right now. But
I'm gonna use a sentiment that you use on us a lot, especially when Manchester United isn't doing well in the beginning of the year. It's a long season.
It is. It's a long season. Yeah. And that could be good or bad.
And a skull, or in a rating from very to supremely, how evil do you think Marion Fellaini is? Because he showed his supervillain prowess.
No, I don't listen.
Game.
I don't think I wasn't a fan of him before he came to United, but he is one of those players that you would rather have on your team than against your team, because he's a player. He has a little bit of that dirty tricks of the trade there, and it was shown in this game.
How that was not a straight up like red, I don't even know. It was right in front of the ref.
I mean, listen, if anybody knows about pulling hair, it's going to be Fellaini. So
it happened to him.
It was in front of the ref, but Fellaini pulls the hair with his right arm.
It wasn't as noticeable.
And his left shoulder is forward, so it is still a bit hidden.
Do you know what's BS though? A guy did that to him, got a 2-game ban. Fellaini gets no ban. Do you know why? This is such a silly thing with the rules.
Oh, because he wasn't actually carded or wasn't called a foul at the time or whatever, right?
The first guy didn't get it called on him, so the FA gives him a 2-game ban. Fellaini gets a foul call on him.
Oh, that's right. That's
doesn't
opposite,
get a ban or a fine. That's
a little out of whack.
If you don't have VAR, that seems wrong to me. Because I would think that if you're going to do punishments post, regardless of what they call, if they're like, whoa, that should have been a red, and that he really hurt
because
him.
it was called in the game means
because it was called a foul in the game, even though that's a very odd, that's a very MLS distinct rule that Premier League has.
It sure feels like it.
What's the point of doing being able to do something like that afterwards?
Yeah.
They call it a foul. But it should have been a this or that, and not even using this, but any other game, a worse example, But I thought, I was like, oh, that's very. I didn't know that rule.
I can't
Premier
condone
League.
or try to. I mean,
so you're going to go with extremely evil.
Sure.
All right,
let's do that.
It on a level from Costa to Mourinho. How evil?
I think he is right in between Mourinho and Costa.
That's
like Costa's like the ultimate just bad guy.
I would have
Fellaini's like that SOB, that son of, and then Mourinho's like, okay, he's the bad guy that I can tend to like sometimes. He's smug, but all right, whatever.
The reason I put Mourinho at the top in our James Bond movie, Costa is like the muscle. Mourinho's the guy. He's like who's the villain.
Mourinho's like the blue field or
he's running,
and then Costa's like the Jaws.
He's pulling all the strings.
Right, so, and then Fellaini is like the what? What would the Fellaini Bond equivalent be?
Jaws.
He's the guy that shoots at James Bond and then falls in the shark tank.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'll say about this game is the takeaway from everyone on Twitter, particularly social media, and kind of the pundits following. And I think this kind of sums up what a different season these two teams are having. Manchester United online, Twitter. Okay, cool. We got a point.
Yeah.
Arsenal's online and Twitter. Damn it, we dropped 2.
Yeah.
That is a huge difference.
Not wrong.
From last year.
Yeah.
That's an enormous.
In both mentalities.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Not just the Arsenal.
Yeah. For Arsenal and for Man U. Yeah. That man. Well, obviously last year, Man United was not worried about Arsenal, but that's a huge difference. A very different year this go round. I would like to point out that when Mario Fellaini did that and didn't get in trouble, I was very, very upset.
How upset were you?
But you know what is awesome? It brought up a wonderful memory. How do you spell Fellaini?
Evil? No, that's not.
Yeah,
Fellani.
I got to find this article that I found on
Felliani.
Let's ask Siri. Let's ask Siri.
Go ahead. Let's see what this happens.
Siri, how do you spell Marouane Fellaini?
Well, the trick is I found it.
Wow, I was right.
Okay, I found this on the web for Siri. How do you spell Marouane Fellaini?
Fellaini.
A-I-N-I?
What cracked me up was looking at an article. A friend of mine hadn't seen what happened. So I found an article. So I did a quick search. News, Fellaini, hair pull. Pulls up an article from the Mirror that I went, brought back one of the best memories ever for the Premier League. As they were talking about why he wouldn't be fined, and the reason being that it was called a foul, right? But they were like, what's crazy though is, Huth, who was the person that pulled his hair, did get that, and then Huth actually went on Twitter and played "Looks Like I Taught Him Well," talking about Fellaini. Where's the quote? But it brought back a wonderful quote because in that particular game, it really upset the Man United coach, a beautiful man by the name of Louis van Gaal, who said, "It is not in the books that someone has to grab by the hair and then pull it behind, only in sex masochism."
That's right. Yes, I forgot about that quote. Yes. Oh, good old Louis.
So
I kind of miss him.
While Fellaini, I'll give him that. He brought that memory back to my heart because I had forgotten all about that.
You're right. I absolutely forgot that one.
In sex masochism, which was like shortly around the same time he got he did the I'm gonna flop on the side of the pitch.
Yeah.
God, I miss Van Gaal.
Yeah,
maybe they'll bring him back if they fire him.
Bring him to Orlando City. Why the hell not?
I would upgrade to sideline tickets.
Are you not entertained?
So speaking of Orlando City, this is kind of our segue into the MLS playoffs.
Yes,
I was like, we're nowhere near
which
the playoffs.
doesn't include
Which doesn't have anything to do with.
Should we slam this?
I'm already done, man. That was good. Yeah.
We're just waiting on you.
I know Ron's got a boogie, so I'm trying to keep it quick.
All right, so the last one. It is the last pale ale of our evening. Dun dun dun. It is called the Big Harry. American Pale Ale.
They love them some hair, don't they?
Yeah. A golden American Pale Ale with so many hops jam-packed that something's gotta give.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, this is a rodeo of stone fruit and citrus flavors with a mild malt sweetness. So saddle up, partner, and say yeehaw.
Yeehaw! I am very excited about this. American Pale Ale is probably one of my favorite, just if I'd be left in a desert island with a style of beer. I love me some American Pale Ale. Oh, this one was ready to blow its top as well, but you started pouring quickly.
Again, that means two things.
Yeah.
What does it mean, Ferris?
This smells so flippin' good. This is going to be my favorite one, I can already tell.
Ooh.
Oh, so American Pale Ales, if you're not familiar, your popular ones in the States are like Dale's Pale Ale. I just probably the most.
Is it just me, or does this one have more of an amber look than the other one did?
Well, it's lighter, though.
Yeah. It's a lighter,
It's a little bit lighter
color.
I love that the colors are kind of red, white, and blue.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
For their American Pale Ale. All right.
Cheers.
Slanja. Oh, yeah, that's my favorite. That's hoppy as can be, but in the best way possible.
I think mine was still what was the first one we had on here?
It's not as malty as as a lot of American Pale Ales are. This is really good.
Oh, it's yes. Oh, delightful.
Just a nice old chop in the mouth with the hops.
Yeah.
Oh.
But a sweet floral hop.
It's not like peeling my teeth back.
Man. All right. So good. All right, moving on. MLS playoffs.
Wait. The MLS
almost
playoffs
there.
are still going on?
Still going on. This Saturday.
We're in the third leg with no away goals rule, but we'll play one single leg after this just to make sure everybody's on the same page.
Right, on a rainy Tuesday.
So this Saturday or Sunday is our final.
In Stoke.
We're recording this on the Thursday.
on the 8th.
Saturday?
On the
Saturday.
On the 8th in
Okay.
2020?
Yeah. That ends the 2018 season. So the Red Bulls needed to score a lot of goals. They won, but they didn't score a lot of goals. They win 1-0, and Atlanta United advance on a 3-1 aggregate.
And all Atlanta United had to do in this game was just not completely the bed.
Right.
And that's what they did.
Right. And they didn't. They gave up the goal. Fine. They can get their win. But Atlanta United, 2 years into expansion, are now making the MLS Cup. Just the MLS Cup. Right?
Just MLS
There's
Cup.
no like final to it.
Well, and
this is one game, win or go home.
for the final.
For the final, right.
Yes.
Now, because they won, that's huge because they were second overall in points of the entire league. New York was first overall in points. So because Atlanta was second overall in points, even out of anybody in the West, the final is now a home field advantage. The rest of it hasn't been, but the final is a home field advantage now. And what an awesome stadium to host the final.
Gonna break records, I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're going to be packed. That's going to be an amazing atmosphere for the final.
I agree.
And then we've got on the other side, because their first game was a 0-0 draw, so someone just had to win. Sporting KC at home against Portland Timbers.
This was an awesome game.
And
super fun match.
Portland Timbers win 3-2
on the road.
And we all said that we felt like Sporting KC was the one team that could maybe hang with Atlanta.
Yeah.
So we got Portland instead.
I don't know about you, gents, but I had Portland winning the entire thing this year when we got to our playoff picks. But I didn't see them getting out of Children's Mercy Park with this sort of win. And a really fun game. KC gets on the board fairly early. And then it takes us the second half. And that second half was wild, man. If you get a chance, that Sebastian Blanco goal was one of the best you will see all year. He makes a couple of quick moves on the side and then about a 40-yard curler, top corner. Cannot place it any better than that. A beautiful strike. Nobody's stopping that. And then the tide just shifted there. And Portland, within 10 minutes later, Diego Valeri gets one, and it's 2-2. But the important thing here is to remember.
No, it's not 2-2. It's 2-1.
2-1.
No, you're right. But the important thing here to remember is if you're playing along at home, does away goals count in this? If you answered yes, you would be correct in this circumstance.
Who would have known?
You're telling me there, Clark.
Even though we explained it 3 times.
70 million times. and we confusedly explained it because I was still confused. But so 2-1 up, Portland with the away goal. So now Sporting KC has to score 2 additional goals to basically win 3-2 at this stage to trump the away goals, right? They get one back. But they get one back after some, not wild scenes, but after Portland score 2 quick goals coming out of half, the KC fans get a little wild and start to throw stuff onto the field, which then the ref halts the game. And, oh God, who was the coach for Sporting KC? It's not Porter, is it? No. Whoever he is walks out into the pitch and walks over to the supporters section corner or whatever, and is just like, "You guys got to stop. You stop right now!" Like, no. And to the credit of the fans there, everybody was not so much like being like, "Oh no, boo!" Blah, blah, blah. They were like almost pointing to where the bottle came from, saying, "Hey, over there, that's where it came from," to get whoever bozos threw that thing onto the field out. And that was big because, as dumb as that was by the Sporting KC fans, that actually helped them out a little bit, because that stoppage in play then shifted that momentum back over slightly to the Sporting KC side of things, because it was all Portland there.
Yeah.
And they got a goal.
The only problem is
in the 81st, and it gave a little bit of spark to them.
But it added a ton of extra time.
And
Yes,
that,
it did.
that
So that
came
then
back to bite them.
Portland could score in
in
the
the very
ninth minute of extra time.
But
so
that extra time actually it gave them a shot too. It gave Sporting KC a shot, because they then tied it up 2-2. So again, they had to win 3-2 to advance, and they just could not find that goal. And the MVP of last year, and like you said, the 90th plus 9, the 99th minute of the regular time, breakaway, a beautiful play out the back, a quick counterattack, and Diego Valeri, like I said, MVP of last year's season, just calmly and coolly buries it into the back of the net in 3-2, and then it was done from there. And Portland get a huge win on the road against the top of the team in the West, Sporting KC.
and so that's our final is Atlanta and Portland in Atlanta this Saturday
on Fox.
On Big Fox, I
Very
believe.
excited.
So who do you got, Blake?
I think Atlanta is actually going to destroy Portland.
How about you, Ferris?
I took Portland before the playoffs started. I'm going to stick with Portland. I think Portland somehow will get this crazy win. They're just rolling with that underdog mentality. Set up shop, do a little bit of countering. Diego Valeri, I can see him scoring another 2 goals. I'll go with Portland.
I'm going to go with Atlanta.
I will say this: if Portland pulls that off, what an upset in Atlanta.
Oh, absolutely.
Woo.
Why is the finals? I don't know. Oh, man.
Wait, let's not go there.
Yep.
Nope,
You're right. Let's go with a good old dad joke, okay?
All right. So again, thanks for listening. Follow us on Untapped. Check out the website, thebrutifulgame.com. There you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the whole shebang. But really, Untapped's one of the best ways, because you can learn about all the beers that we're trying, and we can learn about the beers that you're having. If you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, wherever you listen to us, take a screen grab. You can send it to us on Twitter or our email. That will then we'll get you a little something special in the mail. Just let us know that you left us a review.
Got some koozies, man.
Yeah, we got some koozies. We got some magnets. All right, guys, leading us in this up here. Let's see.
Page 42.
Okay.
It's the meaning of life.
Oh, nope. Sorry.
Okay.
I stopped at 17, just flipping right before you said that, and then I saw the punchline. We're going to go with this one. Oh, man. Ending with the dad joke. What did they name the film about a dad who had amazing revelations while eating his cereal?
I don't know.
Breakfast Epiphanies.
I'm leaving. No, seriously, I'm leaving.
Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game. You gotta get into this. Cheers, Ferris.
Son of a...
Breakfast Epiphanies. Hey.
God.
Terrible.